Listen up, all fight fans and fitness junkies. You've been listening to me talk about Jocko Fuel for a while now, and if you've been waiting, the wait is over. This August, you can score a massive 30% off on all of Jocko Fuel's top-tier supplements. That's right, 30% off. Jocko Fuel is loaded with all of the good stuff and none of the bad. We're talking no added sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and absolutely no gray area or banned substances. Just pure, clean fuel to power your performances. And guys, I really want you to try some of my favorites like Jocko Go and Jocko Hydrate. This deal is only going to be available for the month of August. So use code CHAEL30 or go to JockoFuel.com. Don't wait. Fuel up with Jocko Fuel and crush your goals. Guys, click on the link below to make it happen. Sean Brady versus Gilbert Burns. Here's what happened. All right, now guys, you've got to understand this from the beginning. I came to you last week and I said, what is going on? My own partners at DraftKings had Brady as a favorite. Now, there's a tipping point. Like, there's a tipping point where a fighter is he's not what he was and he's not coming back. And the last one to know that will be the fighter, and the first one to know that will be you guys. The public and the betting public. But I didn't see that with Gilbert. I didn't see that in his fight with Belal Muhammad, which, by the way, Gilbert almost won. Which, by the way, it turned out that Belal was the best fighter in the world, and Belal is the common opponent between the two. He's the common opponent between the two, and I'm talking about Gilbert and I'm talking about Brady. And Gilbert did much better with him than Brady. That's a fair assessment. But DraftKings and you guys were pretty sure that Gilbert was in a little over his head, and as great as Brady looked, and it was very clear that who had more shelf life, I understand that. I understand your ROI and that Brady is the new face. I get all of those things. But Brady is going to have to out-grapple the highest medalist from Abu Dhabi that is currently signed within the division. So, not to mention, Brady is going to have to go into championship rounds, which he had not previously done. He had been scheduled for it. I understand that. So in theory, he was prepared, but he still hadn't done it. I just thought that Gilbert was good value. And you guys got it. Brady also looked better than he's ever looked. He looked better in the stand-up, and he showed that grappling prowess. And he does not have the paper behind him that Gilbert Burns has. Brady does not have a medal from Abu Dhabi behind him, but he's got a lot of other things. Right? I mean, he really does. He beat Craig Jones in grappling. It matters. These things are all very relevant. So, Gilbert Burns has retired. And he made this comment out of the ring behind the stage. And it was released on the internet, and that is where I saw it. But I haven't seen a lot of fanfare behind it, so perhaps, right, and are you guys not taking it as strongly as I took it? Did I get something wrong? And this isn't the first time I've come to you, Eagles, to clarify. I came to you a week and a half ago because I saw a report that Colby Covington was going to fight Poirier at Madison Square Garden in a headliner. And my problem, right, it was the UFC artwork, and this looked official. Everything seemed on brand. It was even reported by the media. And Mania or Elbow, like, these are my two sources, but it was on one of them. The problem I had, where I wasn't believing it, is it said headliner. And headliner is not a vernacular the UFC uses. So, you guys, many of you told me that you'd seen the same thing. And many of you told me we got ahead of ourselves. And many of you told me that it was a fight in the making, but it wasn't quite done yet. And the one thing I could tell between A, B, and C is you were all BS artists. None of you knew. You were presenting it to me like you had information that was nothing more than your guess. Fine. Relevant, though. And you want to know why it's relevant? Because Brady has now called out Covington. That's a great match. No question about it. Covington has called out Wonder Boy. Ian Gary and Covington can't get through an interview without being asked about each other, and Wonder Boy weighed in on social media backing Brady's idea that it should be he and Colby. So, and I like it. I like every way that we're slicing this. I like every one of those ideas and options for Colby, but those are vastly different. Like, if you could be in there in New York, right at the Garden, opposite Poirier, in Poirier's retirement fight, or you could be in there with Brady, an up-and-comer who's coming off a couple of main event victories. Like, it's a very different fight. And I don't think that Brady would waste a bullet. And as much as we over here at Bad Guy Inc. are having a hard time getting to the bottom of it, is the rumor between Poirier and Colby true? Is it being signed? Is it being worked on? As much as we're working on that, Brady would know. The guys know. The guys hear the rumors. So I feel somewhat comfortable in telling you guys that Colby versus Poirier is not in the works. And Brady's going to try to insert himself. Brady with a call-out. Brady with a big win. One over Gaslam. Another one coming in over the weekend at Burns. Only loss being to what turned out to be the best fighter in the world in Belal Muhammad. A lot of really good things going here for Brady. And now he's parlaying that into trying to control his own career and doing a shout-out and a call-out of Colby. I'm very curious where that goes.